Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. Man, have we had some changes happen in the last 12 hours or so. I got a call yesterday afternoon from Jeff. He said, Winston, we got a problem. I said, oh Lordy, what is it? Well, someone at Fox 28 Studio has been around someone that has COVID. And we have been, they have closed the studio down. So we're scrambled and they're all getting tested. So Jeff and I can't have contact with each other. Gail is actually behind the camera, so if it goes crazy, we're going to talk about Gail a lot. But I appreciate her stepping in at the last minute. And we have scrambled. And we're going to do the best we can do. I had a guest scheduled this morning, and I was so looking forward to having this guest. This guest, well, actually, I mean, what a great story he has. He actually, as a teenager, fished the very first day they opened Deer Point Lake after the dam was built. Now, he has pictures of it, and got a great outdoorsman coming on the show. We're going to get him on just as soon as we can because he's got pictures and all kinds of stories. And but that's a good legacy right there to be the very first ones to fish that day in the opening day of Deer Point Dam. So anyway, let's get rolling. We're going to. I don't have anything planned, so you see my list right here. So we're going to just talk a lot and do the best we can. Our weather: high today 87, low 77. The water temperature is 79 now. It cooled down a little bit. And you know, we're in this pattern. You know, these storms are just popping up here. All of a sudden they clear up and pop up. I was looking at the radar yesterday, boom, 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 boom. They're all over the place. And so just be prepared. And I wouldn't get too far out in the water with this kind of weather. Our river reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. You know, do that for sure. The Apalachicola of Bluntstown, pretty steady at a 7 foot. And the Choctahatchee of Carabelle, and it's pretty steady. It's right on, they come up a little bit, but it's Choctahatchee Carabelle is at a 5.8 as you get ready to make your weekend plans. Tides are brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. They're in pretty good shape now. They're coming in. This is funny because it's right at noon. It's coming in all morning, and at 12:01 it's going to be the high tide. And it's going to start going out. It's going to be low tonight at 10:23. So what a great situation there. So I mean, it's going to be a good strong tide today. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're wondering where we are, we're actually in my garage. This is my little tackle bench, and we're sort of in the corner of my garage. It's one of my favorite places to hang out. Got an old table, this old bar we had in the house for Eric and Opal hit. When Opal hit, we got a new bar, and I brought this out here. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff. I could do a whole show on all the stuff I have up here on the pegboard and all that, but it's just a cool place to me. So anyway, stuff's gonna fall down, maybe. We just don't know. But get back to this COVID-19. I'm about to come to a conclusion, you know, watching this and studying it and listening to everything going on and getting all kind of reports, right, you know, right and left. I've come to a conclusion. I feel like sooner or later we all gonna get it. I feel like just like sooner or later we all got the flu. So we need to be prepared. So many people have gotten this past week or so that I know of. So just, you know, and about 98, 99% of us gonna survive it. We don't want to try to be in that 1 or 2%, but just be aware of that. Just but be careful though. Don't just go out recklessly and do things. But it's not it's gonna be around a while till they get some vaccination of some sort. Anyway, let's move on to outdoor stuff. All right. Over the past weekend, of course, July 4th, and we just always have a wonderful, and I use that word probably not enough, just a wonderful, wonderful time with our family on July 4th. It's just been a tradition. We're like 44 years that I think that we had a cookout and camp out down there at Cape San Blas, and it's just it's almost like it is sort of like a family reunion. So we all get there. It's just pure joy for having everybody in the same house and cooking and just laughing and all. And you know, I just sit around observing a lot. I talk to them, but on this past Saturday night, well, it was after things had settled down. It might have been Friday night, one of those nights. We had 3 or 4 nights down there. The kids came up to me and said, Hey, Granddad, we tell us the story of Tate's Hell, because they'd heard me talk about him now and then, and I said, one day I'm going to tell a story. And I realized I hadn't told them that story, and I've told that story in my outdoor classes every year. In fact, when Wendy posted this picture you're looking at, she posted on Facebook, our associate pastor, Terry Tatum, who's also our neighbor here in Southport, he just posted, I vividly remember Coach Chester telling that story in the class, and Terry was in the class of like 96 or 97, so I've told the story for a while, and I get tickled at some of the new versions of it or different takes on it, and I always think mine's the right one, so I'm going to tell it, I'm going to share it with you, and it's going to be, and I sat down, and we just sat down and did it spontaneously that night. It was after we ate and all, we were just sitting around talking, so basically what happened with a guy named was C.B. Tate. And C.B. Tate was an outdoorsman. His dad had homesteaded 160 acres down there in Franklin County. But it's right on the edge of a place called, it's just a huge swamp area. And the Native Americans even were scared to go in there at times. It was just, it was full of panthers, it was full of bears, and full of snakes. And they were on the edge of it, and they'd had, you know, some livestock and all. And what had happened, a panther had done a couple of times to kill some of the livestock, and old CB just had it up to here. He told his wife he's going in there and get that panther. Got a shotgun and went out the next day, took a dog with him, and went wandering back in that swamp, you know, looking at panther tracks. And this is 1870. And so you got to understand how everything is. It's rough now, but can you imagine 1870? So he's sloshing around in there, and he falls down a couple times because the brambles and the brushes. It's just really thick. I mean, at times you couldn't even see through there. But he was just mad at that panther. As you know, sooner or later he got lost. Well, also not only got lost, he spent the night in the woods. The next day he was stumbling around and lost his gun in the water in one of those really swamp deep holes, and he couldn't get it. So he lost his shotgun. The dogs had wandered off chasing a panther. They were gone. So it was him alone. He spent the next night in there. The next day he got bit by a snake, and his legs started swelling up, and he just thought he was going to die. He was starving, so he started eating some roots. Folks, he was in the swamp, wandered around, he'd walk a little while, and just, you know, he was going around in a circle and going straight a while. He didn't know where he was. So he was in bad shape. And the third day, same thing. The fourth day, he started eating roots, anything he could eat. He was eating some, pulled up some of the briars, some of the little round roots, and chewed on those. Drank some of that swamp water, got sick off that, and bugs just, you know, eating them up. It was terrible. And he, but then on the third day, what I left out though, the panthers, a couple of panthers, they started trailing him. So at night, when he laid down, he had to lay down up against the back of a tree, he had to lay down against a tree and look this way, because what happened, the panthers were getting the trees close to him, and they would, when it got dark and everything got still, they would just scream. And one would be screaming over here, then another would answer them over here. And Coy Raffield, when I interviewed him for the book, he told me, because he experienced the same thing at Tyndall, before it's Tyndall, his old homestead, old Raffield homestead. He said, Coach, he said, have you ever heard one scream? I said, no, sir, I haven't. He said, well, it sounded like a blood-curdling scream of a woman, just screaming at the top of her voice. It scares you to death. He said, I was a kid. I'm 90-some years old, I never will forget that scream of the panthers. So you can imagine the panthers screaming at him. So each night, he had to find a tree to lean up against. So he leaned up against those trees and just hope and pray to make it daylight. Daylight came, he had to go somewhere else. And
okay.
He had a situation where he just had to keep moving. Day 3, day 4, and he's getting weaker and weaker. His skin's getting all scratched up. His hair is a mess and all. He had real dark hair when he went in. Day 5, same thing. He didn't think he was going to make it. Day 6, panther's still after him. He almost got bit by a gator. He fell in one of the ponds on I believe it was day 5 or 6. He fell in one of those ponds, and the gators came after him like that, but he was able to scramble out. He finally, that snake bite, somehow, that snake bite he limped and everything, dragged, his foot was numb, his leg was numb, he had to go one-legged. Day 6 went through, night 6. On the 7th day, and now people had started looking for him. His wife had sent word to the sheriff that the CB had lost him. So they, in 1870, they didn't have a lot of ways to look. They just sort of sent word by horseback that CB tape was lost in a swamp. So guys would just, every now and then would check, little points, a little paths coming in or out. And sure enough, two guys saw what they thought looking down the road. They thought, looking down the path, they thought was a bear. And they got closer and closer. They had a gun with them, got closer and closer. They thought it was a bear on all fours, but it got closer. It was a man. He was on all fours, and he was like that, had his head down in the ditch. And they got up close to him, and they knew who CB Tate was. This guy, didn't look like CB. They said, "Man, who are you?" And the guy looked up at him. His face was all swollen up. His hair was all in a mess. He had some white in his hair, and his blood all over him. He said, "I'm CB Tate." And he said, "Man, where have you been?" He said, "I've been to hell." And he just fell over, collapsed. And that's how, and he survived it, but barely. Was messed up the rest of his life. But that's how I got his name, Tate's Hell, from CB Tate getting lost and getting found. So that's the true story of Tate's Hell. Let's take a break, we'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that story on Tate's Hell. Now let's move on. That was in the past. Now let's look at what's happened and what's going to be coming up. I've got a whole slew of pictures. I may not get through all of them now. The drawback of Studio B and Studio C is our electronics. We just don't have them, so we're going to sort of wing it. I'm going to talk about the pictures, and the girls are going to copy them and come back and put them in here or whatever, however we can do it best way. But anyway, let's go. We're going to start looking at pictures. I just ran across some. This is for the past week. I forget where I saw this, but I thought it's good. Everything tastes better with fish scales in it. And that's a good one right there. Here's an email from Terry down in Blue Water. Your granddaughter and her friend were the two best guests you ever had. They were energetic, smart, and inspiring. Kudos to their parents and grandparents. You all must be very proud of them. Your friend Terry from Blue Water. And yes, we are, Terry. Thank you so much for sending that. I showed that to those girls, and they just were beaming, from ear to ear. They was tickled. Okay, here we go. This is down at the State Park in St. Joe during July 4th. And this in the afternoon. Most people are already left and all, but I've taken the kids down there to walk on the beach, get some shells and all. This is Eagle Harbor in the background, so if you know the area I'm talking about. But look where this guy's parked. This is somebody, their boat, well, they're in St. Joe Bay. He parked right in the middle of the crosswalk where people walk across to go to the beach, which is to our left. I mean, right there, the sign said pedestrian crossing. And where did he stop? He stopped right there. So, and I told the kids, I said, before I go back there, I'm gonna go back there and look at his tag, and I bet you $5 each that this tag says Georgia. And guess what? I went back there and said Georgia, and I started to call Tony Bass and send it to him. But anyway, folks, don't park in pedestrian crosswalk. Y'all know that. And here I just want to show you, this is after they got out and walked around. This is Wendy and her family way down on the beach. But I wanted to show you, we're looking north along the peninsula, okay? And of course, this is St. Joe State Park. But look at all the sea oaks they have planted. Isn't that beautiful? Reminded me of our outdoor class. We go planted those, and it looks good though. Just some pictures of them coming back. They're collecting there's a group of pictures here, but they were collecting some shells and everything coming up the steps. So anyway. That's a good part. Okay, now Tommy Davis. This is a good story. This pretty little lady angler, Bella Blitch, caught a pile of fish with her grandma and BR on the river. She would like to see herself on Catch of the Day in the paper where she has seen this is even better Catch of the Day because you're on Panhandle Outdoors. So good job. And it's Jana, her mama is Jana Limmox, and that's a Limmox family. That's an outdoor family out of Southport. Is she not happy right there? Good job, Bella. Okay, and it's really good. Okay, here's kind of mask. You might want to put this on if you make mask required. How about? I thought that was cute right there. That's a bacon strip. How about this one? I'm so old. I remember when it was illegal to break the law. Is that not true? How about if 2020 was a slide? That's about how 2020 is shaping up so far, isn't it? Okay, moving along. Here we're getting ready. Here's a picture of us getting ready for July 4th with the girls hanging. This is our beach house down there. We just had a grand time, and this is how it looks. And we get real patriotic. I got some more pictures later, but Okay, speaking of masks, this explains why the fish have quit biting. Even the fish are wearing masks. Okay. Okay, here is good email from Stacy. Good afternoon, Coach. I watched the show this morning. Great and very informative. This is when I had the situation on Tyndall. Would you please have a list of politicians' email addresses and phone numbers I could forward to a lot of people in the Chipley area that use Crooked Island and fish the Sound? Okay, they sent this to me last week, so I will give you a list of all the folks doing that, and I just don't have the capability of doing it now. Okay, let's move on. Here's a picture where this is July 4th, and you can see what this is the kids here. This is that beach house underneath there, and we all had a great time, and four of those are the grandkids and their two friends, but that was a good meal right there. They clamped down, chow down on it. Okay, that's a good picture. And moving on, let's see, the next picture here. This is true now. All you farmers up there, the night before you plan to pick your sweet corn, we'll be there. We're always talking about deer and all in the corn, but those raccoons, they'll mess it up big time too. And they come in groups. They get word out. The whole families come. The grandmamas and granddaddies and cousins, they all come. I'm gonna tell this story later. This is interesting. A free diver breaks a world record in Destin for red snapper. Good story here. I've got the story. I'm gonna see. Maybe she can come on the show. But the good free diving. She broke her own record. That's a 16-pound snapper in about 25 feet of water, right off of Destin there. Good story. And okay. How about, I thought this is good. Our country will become a better place when everyone realizes there are only two kinds of people in it. Good people and bad people. Folks, if that's not the truth, I don't know what is. Okay, and Will Nelson. Will was a big bass fisherman camping out July 4th, and I know he's at a pole barn, a camping trailer. Will, I've been there in those situations, but I don't know if I caught a fish that big. That was fine. Look at there. They had a good time. I don't want to say there were 5 fish. They weighed in like 27 pounds. That's a fine fishing trip, Will Nelson. Good job. This is interesting. This is something we're going to. We may see a lot of this later on, but and we're going to talk about this later. This is no harvest area for snook, redfish, and trout in the southwest part of Florida, and it's for 2 years. You know, we got a situation with oyster beds down there in that place going to completely collapse. One of the things there is there's a lot of folks down there, a lot of fishing down there in the southwestern part of Florida. And I know more about this later, but they're going to red drum and trout and snook. Be right back. All right, welcome back to the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors in the Studio C in Southport. So here we go. Let's figure out fishing game times from Blue Water Outriggers, 4:17 to 6:17 this morning, and this evening 4:39 to 6:39. And let me tell you something coming up interesting next week that you can participate with. You know, each year we try to go to ICAST. We didn't go last year because of the hurricane and all, but ICAST, you know, down in Orlando is really good. They're not doing it as far as people coming in, but they're still going to do ICAST and have virtual booths. So you can go online. It's like a 5-day event. They're still going to do best of show. You see all kind of neat things. So you, as a viewer, can go online and pick it up, and you'll see all kind of different cool things and all the same things that we'd go to before. And we planned on going this year, but I knew right away they did call it off. So that's a good situation. Don't forget the first weekend of August, the Bayou Bash coming up. I mentioned that already. That's down in Port St. Joe. And also the Mexico Beach, or MBARA, their tournament's coming up in August the 29th. Okay, that's the 2 dates coming up. And let me show you, first of all, I got all kind of projects that goes on here at my tackle bench. And I was going to show, I looked around, they're sitting here. I didn't put these here. My first, I prioritize my project, and sometimes they move around. I said, well, I got to take care of that. I got them in line is how I want to do. So this right here, this is, y'all seen it before, one of my poke poles, okay, when we go scopping and everything. And Mason was here the other day, and of course, you know how teenage boys are and grandsons are. He pulled on it, and guess what? It broke. I said, I'm so glad that it happened here in the garage tonight on St. Joe Bay when I'm about to pull back on about a 25-pound flounder. He laughed. So we got to get one of these, and they need to be replaced every year or two, every 2 years. So that's one of my projects. And so I'm gonna run down to C&G or either Blue Water and give me another. Okay, another one of those. The next project I got going, I'm gonna do my line. I'm gonna put a backing of monofilament on this braid. So I'm gonna pull all the braid out, and I'm gonna tie it. See, it doesn't. I like to have it full reel, and that old braid is so expensive. It's hard to have a whole reel full of braid. So I started doing backing, so a monofilament. Just gotta make sure that knot is tied good. I enjoy doing this when I have time to do it. It's a very enjoyable thing to do. So, okay, so that's another project I got going. And right here, the knife. Hey, we're just sitting over here. This is not a project, but everything's looking good. And I just want to again remind you, this knife is so cool. Okay, it has the. You can soften it right here. All right, and also you pull it in here, and it's got a little V, so you can cut your line through right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just one of my favorite knives. It's got a big old orange handle and all kind of cool things. Speaking of cool things, I'll share with you some of the things I got for my Father's Day presents. That my family is always so good to me. Now, who gave me, Wendy or Chip? Oh, Wendy gave me a new mask and snorkel, and I love these full masks right there. So I'm tickled. That's one of my Father's Day presents. Okay, and Gail, I was going to look at this. Look at this Yeti cooler she got me. Isn't that cool? Hey, it's too cool to put stuff in it, but I'm real tickled with it. So I had a great Father's Day. We had a great July 4th with family and all, but these are some cool outdoor presents. You know, I tell all of y'all to get them for other people, and all here I am receiving them. So that's cool. We got to wrap it up. I ran out of time. I got other stuff to talk about too, but it's not that bad doing a show in here. I'll wrap it up. Y'all have a great day today. We'll do the best we can tomorrow. Do something good today for fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.